Hello to all of our YouTube subscribers and friends. Well, today's Sunday, which means it's time to roll out episode 48 of If This Car Could Talk. Every week, we bring you intriguing and interesting stories about cool cars and their even cooler owners, and today is no exception. So try this on for size. Interesting and intriguing story, check. One cool car, check. An even cooler owner, double check. Now that we have that established, what's the car? Well, as you can see, it's a 77 Pontiac Can-Am, a car only built for 1 year and in very limited numbers. So unless you're a Pontiac or rare American muscle car freak, you may not have recognized it right away. Don't worry though, many people have never seen one in the flesh either. We haven't seen one for at least 20 years, and we attend a lot of automotive events. This particular example is probably one of the finest in existence, so we'll let owner Mike Lamberth tell you more about it. Now, let's go for a ride.
Hi, I'm Mike Lamberth. I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois. I lived here now in Phoenix for the last 24 years. I currently own a 1977 Pontiac Sport Coupe, which is LeMans, but it's the Can-Am series. Very unique car. I purchased this car in summer of 2014. I had been looking for this car for several years. Very, very hard car to find. People that have them don't get rid of them. Everything I found online or around the country were horrible shape. Many parts are missing off the car, and those parts are unique to this car only. So, and they are not replaceable by anybody. So, I really like this car because it's a very unique car. They only built them in 1977. And while the number of 1,337 cars is what you see online, there is a Pontiac book, and Jim Wangers wrote a story about it. There were actually a few more than 1,100 of these cars actually became Can-Ams. Again, a very unique story in this book, and you can go online and it'll tell you about the car. It was a 1 year only car. They didn't build them until April of 77. The driveline is the Trans Am 400 engine, the 400 transmission. All cars were automatics. Every single car came white with the three-tone stripes. As cars came down the line, they may have gotten different color interiors, but mine is all red, bucket seats, console. It is original car, numbers matching engine. It is a Pontiac motor. Several of the cars, as they went to different elevations around the country, would receive the Oldsmobile 403. And that was the difference in several of these cars. Options weren't. Some would get air conditioning, some would get electric windows. There was an option of even a sunroof. Most of them come with the Rally Sport wheels. When the cars were built by Pontiac, they were all sent over to Motown to be converted to Can-Ams. And so Jim Wangers, this was his creation with Pontiac. And so all the cars were sent over to his shop. He cut the hole in the hood, put the shaker hood on, put the striping on, and he built a mold for this spoiler. And during the production of the spoilers, the mold had broken, and he had went back to the big shots at Pontiac and told them what had happened. And it was going to be some time before the mold could be repaired or a new one to be built. And so Pontiac didn't like that fact that it was going to delay the production of the cars, but my understanding is that Jim Wager said, well, we can still build the cars. We can send them, when we get the mold made and new spoilers produced, we can send them out to the dealers to be installed. And I guess they didn't like that idea, so they scrapped the project. Initially, there were supposed to be 2,500 cars in the first run. And when the cars started hitting the dealers, they loved the cars so much they were wanting as many as they could get. But because of the mold issue with the spoiler, that the number of cars became very few. And as I said, there's few more than 1,100 that actually got built. When I purchased the car, actually it's a kind of funny story because I've been looking one for many years, and everybody said, well, what's so unique about a Can-Am? I go, again, they only made them 1 year. There are very few made. And I would look at pictures and online, very, very hard to find something that was nice. And so out of coincidence, we had some friends that lived up northern Arizona, were in town, and they stopped by, and we got on the subject of cars. And he asked me if I still had my other car, and I said yeah. And he says, well, I got several cars that I have, and I want to sell. So he started naming off all the cars, and the last one he mentioned was the Can-Am. And I about fell over because I've been looking for this for years, and he had a Can-Am, and I go, do you want to sell it? His wife turns and says, yes, right away. And I go, is it in pretty good shape? And he goes, yeah, I bought it from the original owner out of Minnesota. And I said, well, I'll be up next weekend with my car trailer to pick it up. So when we got there, it had been sitting outside for quite a while, and it didn't look pretty. And when my wife seen it, she kind of looked at me and says, you want this car? And I said, yes. And so put it on a trailer, brought it home, and it didn't run very well because it had been set for 6-7 years in his driveway. It was filthy dirty, would barely run, but I got it home, and we started going through all the drivetrain. Again, he had the original everything on it, carburetor, which is a Rochester. Now everybody likes a Rochester carburetor. But I found a guy that is amazing with carburation, took it over to him, and he got it running. So I ended up going through the entire drivetrain, replacing all the shocks and the brakes and the tires and exhaust and suspension parts. And the car itself still needed some details, so I actually hired a detail company to come out and see if they could clean the car up. And they spent about 4 or 5 hours, and when he first seen the car, he goes, I don't know if there's much I can do with this. But when he was done, I was totally amazed that he brought that paint back to what it is now. There were some light scratches in it. The car was faded so bad, and they rubbed on it, and I couldn't believe what they did to make the car look like it does now. As far as what I've actually done to the car, last winter I pulled the engine out and the transmission and went through it because it was pretty tired. And these cars, the Pontiac engine only come with 200 horsepower. Not a lot of horsepower back in the 70s because of all the government restrictions and EPA and emissions and everything, so not a lot of horsepower. And so a good friend of mine that I've become acquainted with is an amazing engine builder, and he pulled the engine out and went through it, and when I got it back, he said, you'll be very happy. It has a little over 400 horsepower now, and it runs very, very nice. Went through the transmission, put a posi rear end in it, and just cleaned the car up, and it has become an amazing car. It gets a lot of attention, and driving it is nice because it rides nice, it handles nice. It's a 4,100 pound car, so it does ride nice because of the weight. But now I got some horsepower to where it's respectable now. My future plans, I think, are, while the car looks very nice, I do want to pull it off the frame and redo the powder coat the frame and redo all the undercarriage and then repaint the car. I got all the important components done, the engine, the driveline, and all that stuff, but it would be nice to tear this car apart and make it look like a brand new car again. What I like about the Pontiac is, you know, I'm a Chevrolet guy, I've had lots of Camaros. And what's unique about the Pontiac, when you listen to the exhaust, when you listen to the engine, it has a different sound than the Chevrolet. Pontiac being the first muscle car with the GTL, this is just a descendant of all those GTLs that were ever built. My favorite part of the car is the fact that it is a 1 year only production made car. When I drive it down the street or I go to a car show or anything like that, it stands out of the crowd. And again, that's what I like about it. What's unique about it is because I'm the only guy in town that's got one.
Thanks, Mike, for sharing your absolutely amazing Can-Am with the world. Don't forget to tune in next Thursday when we'll give you a history lesson on this one-of-a-kind performance Pontiac. Also, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment if you'd like. Hit the subscribe button too so you never miss any of our twice-weekly videos. We appreciate you watching and supporting our channel. See you on Thursday, and remember, be careful out there.